YouTubers out there, this is the Boob Wasteland Show with your host, Jerry Saravia. So today we're going to take a look at one of the new shows of the fall 2013 lineup. That would be NBC's The Michael J. Fox Show. Now, this show just debuted over a week ago. Started on September 26th. Anyway, it's a pretty simple premise. Michael J. Fox plays a former news anchor named Mike Henry, who gave up his job because he has Parkinson's disease. And he decides to work on his health and stay with his family. But then after 5 years, he decides, and actually is kind of lured back into the world of news broadcasting by a friend of his, and decides he's going to come back as a news anchor. And the public, this show, by the way, takes place in New York City, and the public is very much fine with it. He's celebrated for his brave and courageous return to television. So far there have been 2 episodes, so we've not really seen him on the air, aside from, that is, as a news anchor trying to perform, aside from a news promo that is played up as very sentimental and that type of music, like, you know, in slow motion, and the show kind of makes fun of that. Plus, his character has a little rivalry with the news anchor Matt Lauer. So the show kind of plays that up a little bit in the first episode and a little bit in the second episode. Anyway, so let's see. The cast is Betsy Brandt, who plays Annie Henry, Mike's wife, who is also in the show Breaking Bad, playing Ed Norris's DEA agent's wife. And then you got Juliette Gaglia, I guess is how you pronounce it, as Eve Henry, who is Mike and Annie's daughter. And there's Anna Nogoria as Kay Costa, Mike's segment producer. And Wendell Pierce, who's a wonderful actor, as Harris Green, Mike's boss and best friend. He's the one that tries to get Mike back into television. So what I think so far, premiere episode was a little bit it was a little bit strange. Something that didn't seem quite right. I'm not sure the show, at least in the premiere episode, found its footing. Something, even there were a couple of critics who said something seemed a little bit off about it. I mean, it's relatively okay. It's modest. It plays it safe because Michael J. Fox, you know, is consistently with his tremors. I'm not trying to do Rush Limbaugh imitation here, please. But, you know, there is that feeling, a little bit of discomfort about this. But of course, once he takes his pill, you know, then he's back to regular Michael J. Fox, even though he still experiences tremors, as he does in real life. And obviously, this was an attempt for Michael J. Fox to prove that he could still do a show. He has not been the lead in a sitcom or show of any kind since Spin City went off the air many years back. He's had character parts here and there in other shows since then, Rescue Me and The Good Wife, for which he has been, in fact, I think he received an Emmy for Good Wife, if I'm not mistaken, or if not Rescue Me. Anyway, the issue of Parkinson's is not bothersome. It's the fact that, of course, he has Parkinson's, but the fact that the show is about somebody who has Parkinson's, I mean, I guess that's fine. But it just, the tone was off in the premiere episode. However, in the second episode, things seem to work off a little bit better. Tracy Pollan, who is Michael J. Fox's real wife in real life, plays a upstairs neighbor, and there's a lot of the, you know, typical shenanigans of Michael J. Fox trying to be in denial that he's not attracted to her and so on, to trying to explain to his wife he's not attracted. And Wendell Pierce, he tries to get Wendell Pierce to go on a double date, so to prove to his wife, Mike's wife, that he's not really interested in Tracy Pollan. So there's a lot of that we kind of remember Michael J. Fox for, you know, putting himself in situations and being in denial and trying to work, you know, his way through them. And the show didn't deal with the Parkinsons as much as part of the story or plot. And I think that that's important. I think it's better just to, you know, they established in the premiere episode, and they don't have to, you know, he can, obviously, once he gets back into the game as a news anchor, they're going to have to deal with the Parkinsons. And, but they should do it in a very subtle way. Because otherwise, there's something just a little discomforting about the whole thing when you're focusing on the Parkinsons and you're not making it as funny. Not that the disease is funny, but the second episode plays it better because even though he has it, it's not part of the plot. You see, so eventually you'll just have to get past the fact that he has it, if you know what I mean. So there is hope for this show, I think. It doesn't bother me that he has Parkinson's, and the fact that he shakes a lot and does all this. I mean, you can get used to it. Obviously he has Parkinson's, so. But the tone was off in that premiere episode. I think something didn't quite connect. It didn't feel like exploitation. Is not what I'm saying, but it just felt that when they make that the main focus, his Parkinson's, the show lost something there. But the second episode, again, if you don't deal with it as much and just accept that he has it, it's going to work better for the show overall. And I think it would be good for the show if, in fact, once he is a news anchor, that they do explore it and how some people may react to it. But be honest about it so it doesn't feel uncomfortable. Anyway, so as a show, it's not bad. We'll see how it goes on. Michael J. Fox is one of the executive producers. My only real complaint about the show is Katie Finneran, who plays Lee Henry, Mike's sister, who lives in the basement of the apartment building where he resides in New York. A totally unnecessary character. I know this may sound weird, but or not weird, but a little off the wall. But get rid of this character. I just can't. There was something that didn't quite click. You've got the wife, you got the son, who is trying to pass himself off as not the next Steve Jobs, but somebody who can come up with a search engine even better than Google, supposedly, and it doesn't work. He quit school, blah, blah, blah. And then you have the daughter who actually seemed to be exploiting her father's Parkinson's for a class project. So there are good characters there, but the sister, get rid of her. No good. But I'm not the one making the network decisions, but it seems like it's one too many characters, especially in you. Also got the boss, and you got Mike's wife. Enough is enough, I think. But that's just my opinion. So check it out. It's certainly not panning the show. It's only 2 episodes, but the second episode the tone seemed to work a lot better. There was a little more ease with getting to know these characters, as is always the case with most pilots of most shows. But second episode seems to be going in the right direction. We'll see how it goes. And this is the Boob Wasteland Show with your host, Jerry Saravia, signing off.